Welcome to the Purpose and Profit Summit, where our mission is to help female business owners step into their purpose and create profitable businesses. Your host for this session is Ginny Trask. Ginny is the founder of Badass Women in Business and the co-creator of Speaker's Playhouse. She has another amazing guest coming right up. Take it away, Ginny. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, stepping into your purpose and your profit here on the Purpose and Profit Summit. I'm Ginny Trask, and I am thrilled to be joined by Kate Phillips. Welcome to the program, Kate.
Thank you so much. I am super happy to be here.
So Kate is going to be talking to us about rewriting your money story. And guys, this one is for me. I'm excited about this talk, very excited about this talk. So Kate helps people to stop stressing about money, to take action and transform their results. Going beyond typical personal finance, Kate uses a personal growth perspective to address the real reasons why so many people struggle with money, no matter how much they make. I'm going to say that, no matter how much they make. Kate has created transformational programs such as Rewrite My Money Story and Wealth School. Today, she'll be sharing about how to rewrite your money story. Kate, I am super excited about this and I cannot wait for you to get into it. But tell us a little bit about how you came to be so passionate about helping entrepreneurs, especially female entrepreneurs, with this whole money story.
Thank you so much, Ginny. You know, I am passionate about this topic, not because have always been brilliant in this area, but because I've gone through a lot of pain in this area. I would say I spent half of my life with a very disempowering money story that led to some predictable and not very good results. I literally was prejudiced against people with money. When in college, I was the religion major and I was a musician. So I had I was like a money monk. Like I didn't want to get my feet dirty in it, and had the little bit of the starving artist thing going on as well. I was very suspicious about those business majors. And through life, I actually became a business owner later in life as my ex and I opened up a restaurant. And that's really when I started encountering money. It would be really nice if the money stuff was working, and then we became statistics and divorced. I was a single mom of a young girl and we had just sold our restaurant. I had no idea how I was going to make a living. And that was the beginning of changing my mind and my attitude around money, and the beginning of years and years of research that continue to this day of what is the difference between people who struggle and people who succeed with money.
I am really feeling what you're laying down here, because I've also found that of myself, that I have a prejudice against money, in the sense of, people that have money are this or that, right? Especially when it has come to relationships for me, actually, strangely. I don't like men with money. I like men that don't have money, or they have some money, but not too much money.
That's
you know what I mean?
Problem.
So, we all have these stories, right? So I'd love to hear a little bit more, because I know that, one of the things that you really kind of, get into is why even the smartest, most creative people struggle with money. So why is that, and how do we change it?
Yeah. Our entire lives, we are conditioned with what I call your money story. So it begins, the moment you're born, or some people might even say earlier, but let's just start at birth. And we start absorbing these messages. We absorb messages from our parents, especially in the first 7 years. And you hear things like, we can't afford it, or, oh, that neighbor thinks he's all that, and or, grandpa is, being a jerk, about money, or things aren't fair. So we start absorbing these messages at a young age. And then, as we proceed through life, sometimes things get worse before they get better, because the culture has its own ideas about money. We, as a culture, we love to cheer people on and succeed. And then when they do succeed, have you noticed sometimes we like to cheer them on to fail? or people who succeed, we don't like how they're spending their money. We think that maybe we could do better, and so we have all kinds of attitudes. I call it the love-hate relationship with money. It's like, yes, I want more money, but ooh, I don't want to be like those bad people with money, or or I don't want to have all that responsibility, or whatever our particular story happens to be around it.
Yeah, we've got some great comments from the audience. So Cheryl Stelt says, oh, I was conditioned. I wasn't even aware. And the culture was really there, right? And
Yes.
Dr. Helen says, how about money doesn't grow on trees, or money is the root of all evil? Yeah, these are all these stories that we've been conditioned to, to believe. And so tell us more about our money story. Like, how do we get to the bottom of what is our money story?
Yeah, the first thing is, I'm going to give you 3 steps, 3 secrets. And the first thing is to recognize it. It's like the water to the fish at first. And, what money story? I don't have a money story. This is just how things are. Money doesn't grow on trees, or it takes money to make money, whatever we think is the truth, which is actually just our belief system. And so when we start to recognize it, so we have to start watching for it. A fun thing I like to do with clients is we might do journaling, but I also have fun questions like, if your money story was a movie, and this is for everyone out there, I want to see some comments. If your money story was a movie, what kind of movie would it be?
Ooh.
And I get all kinds of fun answers, it's a horror film. It's a really dull documentary. It's a romantic comedy, it can be. And maybe for a lot of us, it's some kind of a hero's journey where we are, and this is how I see money, that it's through this lens of transformation where anything can be a tool for transformation. Yoga, or, doing a triathlon, a relationship, all of these things. I love it. Matrix. Yes.
Jaws. We got Jaws too.
Don't go near the water. Yeah. So there's, hero's journey. That's where I was. I distracted myself. I know I was told not to look at the comments. Now I know why. I'll let you do that. But it is our journey of reclaiming that story, reclaiming our power, which, by the way, is the second tip is we've got to reclaim ourselves as the authors and creator of our life. And that includes our money as well. And we can start to look at money rather than, in our story, who are we in the story, and what does money represent? Does money represent, is it an obstacle? Is it the enemy? Is it, maybe money gets to walk alongside us and help point the way. And when we start looking at all of the things that money can help us with, has money ever taught you discipline, or priorities, or boundaries, or generosity? I mean, there's so many things that if you believe we're here to grow and learn on earth, then why wouldn't money be a part of that?
So big. So really, the first piece is really naming it, right? So, and I like that you have a creative way to come up with is like, what's the movie, right? Like, what's the movie? And what does money represent in the movie? Is it an obstacle? Is it like naming like kind of what that is, right? I love that because that makes it so easy. So can I give you mine? I'll give you mine. Well,
yes.
We have some great ones in here, by the way. Brewster's Millions, Aliens, Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And I like that you also said, what does money represent? Like, is it an obstacle or is it boundaries, or right? Like figuring out what it represents for you. So I just discovered, actually through a potential money crisis in my business, learning opportunity this past week, that really my biggest story is about self-sacrifice, that I'm like totally willing to sacrifice myself and my money. And so like my money represents, or has been representing, I'm working on clearing it like literally right now this week, which is why I'm so excited to be here with you. But yeah, so for me, it represents the like my lack of boundaries. When you said boundaries, I was like, yes, for me, it represents the lack of boundaries, and the feeling that I have to sacrifice myself in order for people to love me. So I'm like super quick in my business to sacrifice money, right? Like, oh, like they're unhappy, like I'll give them like a crazy amount of money back instead of like what should really be given, or like, like a full refund when a partial refund would do, or, overspending just because I think that, I need to, in order to make them happy when there actually isn't a problem, right? So that's been my money story. And I just got to shine a light on it, like literally in the last 7 days.
That is awesome. Can I give you a quick tip?
Yes.
Okay. You talked about giving people money back. Why not create more value? Why not give them a gift, give them an extra session, instead of handing money back, which is saying they're more important than me. It's also saying like money's bigger than me, and so I'm gonna just give it away. We can create more value, have a conversation and say, I'm committed to you getting the result that you showed up to get. What can we do to do that together? Rather than I'm just here, have some money.
Right. Yeah, no, I love it. I love the way that you're rewriting that. So we have some other great comments. Dr. Helen says, what if money could be my friend? Stacy Jones says, can money be my lover, my sugar daddy? Perfect. And Deborah says she likes Stacy's idea. So you said the second piece is really realizing that you are the author. That you
Absolutely. And reclaiming that power. Author means authority, and we have to have authority in our own lives. There's also part of the story, and it's really part of also the recognition piece, is who are you? We've talked about who are you, and there's archetypes of money. I mentioned money monk, that I was the money monk, a little too good for it, but we can also be, are we spenders? Are we savers? And there's light and dark to all of these pieces. There may be generosity as a spender, but then there may also be, did I remember to save anything for me? So, and there's also the amasser, which can also be a hoarder, but the amasser is the investor. There's also the avoidant, there's Oscar the ostrich, who it's all going to be okay, but I'm just not going to deal with it. Or I invented a character called Polly. Let's see, she is Prosperity Polly, and she says a lot of affirmation. She listens to lots of Abraham Hicks, even when she's sleeping. And she's big dreams, and she knows she's going to be a millionaire. She's to steps, so she's just going to keep dreaming until she starts to take action.
I love it. I love that character. And we did have a raised hand. We aren't able to answer questions like vocally, like we're not able to unmute you. But if you want to ask your question in the chat, we'd be super happy to have your question in the chat. Stacy says, "Stop talking about me like that." I love it. I love it so much. I love it. So yeah, so really realizing who you are as the character too. That makes
Absolutely.
so much sense. So like, what role is money playing, and then what is your character?
Yeah.
It's so cool to think about it that way, because I sometimes have been the ostrich. Sometimes I've been the ostrich. My brother is definitely the amasser. My brother is the amasser. He is like just all about amassing all the money and all the things and all the cool stuff, and
And we're not just one thing. Usually we're like a combination of two or three. different sides. Like, how do we this? Like, how do we change it if I've been in pain? And that's my third tip. I call it like roots to results. We know that we have the results. We can kind of tell what our money story is by literally just looking at the results and at the patterns. And so how do we disrupt those patterns? How do we change them? A quick metaphor I have is we might be looking at an apple tree and we say, here are my current results, but apples are okay, but I really want oranges. And so we go and we pull off all of the apples and we staple on a whole lot of oranges, and we stand back and go, ta-da, I have an orange tree. And we're really happy with our orange tree, but wouldn't you know it, that orange tree is not going to last because we haven't changed anything. If we say the invisible creates the visible, the roots are going to create the fruits. We haven't done anything to change those roots. And to shift the roots, it's all about here's what we normally do, passive learning. We're going to read a book, we're going to listen to a podcast, maybe we're going to say some affirmations, we're getting a little more active now. But we've got to really go and rewire our brains. And that's going to could take a lot of repetition, but also engaging people with active learning that literally can shift emotions, can shift their vision of themselves, a person's vision of themselves. Maxwell Maltz of psychocybernetics used to say that you're not likely to outperform your self-image. And so when we can envision ourselves being bigger and more powerful, and when we have a future vision of money that literally shifts us, and I have exercises that help create these kinds of changes. And so that's what it takes. We have to roll up our sleeves and get our hands dirty and down into the dirt to shift those roots.
So I love that you're actually giving us like, okay, so now that here's the how, right? We've got to get in and shift the roots. We had some great questions that totally went in line with this piece that you were talking about. So Tara says, Kate, how about people born wealthy who are now poor?
Oh, yes. I mentioned identity and some, I know there's a cultural idea that like, oh, those are the lucky people. And if only I could have been, born rich. But the truth is that it can be disempowering when, it's like my life is all laid out for me and there's these shoes I'm supposed to step into, parents or grandparents, perhaps money is, if you feel it's used to control you, then we may rebel against money. Or maybe we never learned the skills. I actually wrote a book called Perpetual Wealth that's all about generational wealth. I wrote this with a life insurance expert, Kim Butler. And one of the things that we explore in that book is that the most important thing we can leave our children is the ability to build and manage wealth for themselves. And just because you're born into a wealthy family doesn't mean that you have that ability. And so, whether we get it from our parents, and if we don't get it from our parents, most of us, a lot of us don't. And so we have to go, again, be the authority of your life, begin to learn about money and how to manage it and have small wins. If your confidence has been eroded with some losses, then we need to find the wins in our life and remind ourselves how amazing we are and start to have those small wins with money, even if it's, I put $50 into a Roth IRA or whatever it is, set up an automatic, investment or savings thing so that you can start to have those small wins and start to engage with it actively rather than if you've been engaging with it passively, like get in there, like, what do I need to do?
One thing, that I found feels really good is it actually feels really good for me to physically pay bills rather than having them just auto paid. Like, so,
Cool.
because a lot of my bills are auto paid, but like medical bills and things like that. it actually feels really like when I paid them, I'm like, oh, I'm such an adult. I paid these bills. Like, it has a good feeling to me.
Awesome.
And I think it's because it's more active,
Yeah, yeah. It can be. I know, like with journaling, writing by your hand is more effective than than reading something, or even than typing something. Yeah, and I'm seeing somebody somebody who won millions and is now poor. Absolutely, because somebody gave them a whole bunch of oranges, but the roots were never changed. Chances are their identity of being somebody who struggled with money didn't change at all. And so they got money and they probably started, spending it on silly things that they regretted later, rather than having those small wins. I don't know if I'm frozen or if you are frozen.
Oh, it was me. I think it was me.
Got it. Okay.
Sorry about that. Sorry,
Things
guys.
went quiet.
I'm sure it's me. I have AT&T fiber, but it still doesn't seem to do the job sometimes. So, I have terabyte upload and download speeds, and yet. So anyway, we just have a couple of minutes left, and I love this so much. This has been so much fun and so enlightening, and it really feels empowering. Like, we can really do this. We can actually rewrite this story. So Kate, I know that you have a freebie for the audience. I would love to have you talk a little bit about, you actually have 2 freebies, right? So tell us a little bit about the freebies that you have for the audience.
Awesome. So everybody will get my guide. It's a 22-page guide called Breakthrough to Abundance. You'll hear about my dirty laundry. It's not quite as bad as Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, but you'll hear some of my sad history of struggles with money, how I overcame them, the 4 reasons you're stressing over money, and how to change that cycle forever. And then I know that sometimes even 22 pages is a lot to get through. And I know that Jeanette has a lot of amazing women entrepreneurs following her. So I did something just for women. It's a 5-page report, and it's called The 10 Things Every Woman Should Know About Money. I've been passionate, empowering women around money for so many years. Because the statistics are actually not fair. They're a little scary, and I made it my mission to help change that. So you will get both of those bonuses.
Oh, wow. That is super awesome. I love it. I've already actually downloaded one. I've downloaded the first one. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. And guys, make sure you click on the link and somebody let us know whether or not the link works. That would be great. It's always good if we can troubleshoot things while we're on here together, instead of later on, you have to email the support team. So we are going to, oh, great. Thank you so much, Stacey. Thanks for letting us know that it's working. We are going to skedaddle off. We do have another amazing speaker coming right up, but do you have any final words for the audience before we take off, Kate?
I do. I just want to encourage you. If things have been frustrating, I know the last 2 years have been nothing but uncertainty and disruptions, depending on what business you're in. I know it wasn't, the pandemic wasn't bad for everybody, but we've had a lot of challenges, and you may have had patterns and cycles of challenges where you find yourself, oh my gosh, am I really here again? Whether you're looking at credit card debt or whatever your story happens to be, just know that you can rewrite that story, that it's never too late, and that we can always take back that power and authority of our lives and of our money, regardless of the circumstances. And the first thing is going to be to unhook your self-worth from the circumstances and say to yourself, okay, I've made some mistakes with money, but I love myself. I still love myself. Give me a hashtag I love myself in the comments, because all prosperity starts from that starting point.
Oh, thank you so much. All right, guys, hashtag I love myself. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. And I love you, Kate. You have been amazing. We are going to skedaddle out of here, and join us at the top of the half hour for Jay Fizzette, Cultivating profitable partnerships. We will see you guys on the next talk, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you so much, Jenny.
Thank you for joining us for another amazing session of the Purpose and Profit Summit, where our mission is to help female business owners step into their purpose and create profitable businesses. For recordings of all sessions, plus an amazing VIP gift bundle full of courses and resources from our knowledgeable speakers, upgrade to VIP for only $97. If you have any questions or problems during the summit, email our support team at support@purposeprofitsummit.com. Stay tuned, we have another amazing speaker coming right up.